So imagine if you were able to pull yourself out of that procrastination cycle that you were in, and you challenged yourself to show up at just 1% a day for the next 365 days. How do you think that would affect your life? So in this video, I'm going to take you through a journey of what it will look like to show up at 1% a day for the next 365 days. How it's going to benefit you personally and professionally, and how you can stay consistent for the whole 365 days. But first, let's take a look at why men are not already doing this. So I'm going to take you back to when I very first started my first business, and this is where I started getting it wrong and making these critical errors, which is what a lot of men are making today, and it's why they're not being consistent or they're not achieving on a frequent basis. So if you look at this here, huge rectangle, or you look at this as a skyscraper. The skyscraper is the life and the mission that we're trying to build. So we're trying to build something, and this is me right down here, tiny little thing here. So I'm trying to set this huge goal, and my focus is purely on that end state. So all I'm thinking about is the big goal, the big achievement, the big outcome. And what I failed to do, and what I did not pay attention to, and this is what so many people do, are the small micro increments that we need to implement to get to the end here. I was just purely focusing on the end. And so many men do this. They focus on the big goal. They focus on the big things, that when they don't accomplish them, when they realize they're not at that level, when they're not consistent enough, they just give up. So what I'm about to show you was what was the game changer for me in terms of focusing on the end goal, not being consistent, not understanding the process of why I wasn't winning, why I wasn't achieving. I suddenly had this eye-opener from a video that I watched once, and it showed me the process of, instead of focusing on the end goal, to purely focus on the next step. So instead of worrying about losing 3 stone, it's about just losing the first pound and then the next pound and so on. So let me show you in this diagram, this demonstration about what or how that looks like, so that you can understand what a 1% win looks like and how it can change your life. So when we look at the model before, we had the skyscraper, which was the mission that we were trying to achieve, and we were focused purely on the end game. When we look at the new model here, we've broken it down into layers. So instead of trying to focus on the top game, we're focusing on just the next level, and we're taking it level by level. But before we build up, we have to build down. So we have to build foundations. And in order to achieve our 1% wins, to achieve those big wins, okay, in order to move millimeters to move miles, we've got to have non-negotiable foundations, which are morning routines, evening routines, exercise routines. We have to be able to build us as a character, as a human being. We have to be able to self-master ourselves, so that we have these non-negotiable skills to build layer by layer to what we're focusing on. So the focus doesn't become on the top, it comes on the first level. Once we've built the first level, we then go on to the next level, and then on to the next level. And in 365 days, we have a skyscraper that's 365 stories tall, and our whole life looks completely different. This becomes the mission and the process. So a common question that we often get is that, what does 1% wins look like? What is a 1% win? And we're going to go through right now and show you the different things that can be a 1% win. Now, 1% of your day is around 14 and a half minutes. So anything that we're doing for ourselves for around 15 minutes a day, every single day for 365 days, is going to move the needle forwards in our lives. A simple example of this is that if you worked out every single day for 15 minutes for the rest of your life, or certainly for the next 365 days, would it make a difference to your emotional, mental and physical state? Yes, it would. So here's some examples of 1% wins that you could implement. Just one of these a day, it would make a difference to your life. So getting up earlier, no phones for the first hour when you wake up, working out, planning your day, doing a cold tub or having a cold shower, talking positively to yourself, doing some personal development training, asking that girl out. So these are all small micro tasks that over a long period of time slowly build up a process and a mission for you to improve your life personally and professionally. So how does this change your life in the bigger picture? Well, if you think about this as your life, this basket, and right now we're empty in terms of it being full of purpose, direction, and embracing life, right? And we want to improve ourselves with this 1% strategy over 365 days. Well, if we were to take one piece of Lego every single day, and that represented a 1% win over 365 days, and we just kept on filling up the bucket of wins, of successes, of things that we've achieved, after 365 days, we would have 365 pieces of Lego. And that is how you should look at your life. Over 365 days, all of those wins are going to slowly fulfill you, give you purpose, direction, and help you start embracing life on a much more higher level. And it just starts with one piece, and over 365 days, you could have your final product. So how do you make the start right now? How do you get this going? Well, you have to make the commitment to yourself. You're probably sitting there and thinking, I'm too busy. And if you're doing that, then the truth is you're never going to really change. If you can't find that 1% win every single day for the next 365 days, there is something seriously wrong within the system in terms of you not seeing the benefits of this and how achievable it is. So the first thing that you've got to do, you've got to make the commitment to do this. You've got to dedicate just 15 minutes for that 1% win each day for the next 365 days. Number 2, get yourself a notepad, get yourself a streak system, get yourself an Excel sheet where you just go in there and you just get that tick. So you're building up the ticks and you're building up the wins. And number 3, want it. Have the fire, desire, drive, ambition to improve the way that you're living your life. Otherwise, it's going to stay the same for the rest of it. Now, one of the best things you can do is start improving the way you show up in the mornings. And this video right here is a great follow-on video to watch to understand the 4 things you want to do in the morning before you go to work. And a lot of your 1% wins can be achieved within this time bracket. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's given you monumental value. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know if there's any subjects that you struggle with that you think that I could do a video on that would help you move forwards. Cheers for watching.